when word got spread around that I wanted to talk to you about the documentary and what was going on, got a lot of heat. Can't have that guy on. He said the election was rigged. He said January 6th didn't really happen that way. What is your response to people saying that you lied for Trump and to the American people?
Yeah, so I think that, first of all, people need to go see, Flynn, the movie, and they can go to flynnmovie.com. It's an inspiring story of survival. One of the things that we talk about in this film are a couple of things. I was never charged with anything. Yes, I did plead guilty, and it was for a specific purpose. It was for a specific reason, and I document that in the movie. The FBI agents that came into my office that early January of 2017, they actually wrote down that I wasn't lying. My case ended up being dismissed by the Department of Justice for really their egregious government misconduct, and then I had to fight a judge after my case was dismissed for another 8 months, and that's why I ended up taking what we call a pardon of innocence, because I was found innocent by the Department of Justice after their own internal investigation. So it's a fascinating story, and I think that people will be surprised at some of the things that I talk about, because about two-thirds or about a third of the movie talks about these endless wars that we are involved in. And as a retired general officer from the United States Army, I'm not anti-war. I'm just anti-stupid war. And I talk about these things, and I bring back the age of the 60s and some of the things that happened in the 60s all the way up till the here and now. And yes, is this a continuation of the deep state? In the last week and a half, Chris, I've received another 8 subpoenas. And I'm like saying to myself, God, when does this end? When is this one-sided system of justice that we have? And in the movie, we talk about this deep-seated corruption. And you just hit on something at the very end of the last segment, which I thought was right on the money. The American people, they care about certain things. I'm not sure they don't really care about this stuff that's going on with Trump right now in the New York trial. What they care about is this two-sided system of law that we have in our country that seems to go after conservatives and not go after others, right? So I do think that we have an incredibly level of corruption in our government right now, and it's been that way for far too long. And you hit on something about the money. The money that comes into government is just outrageous.
Is shady, and the legal money is the most dangerous money, the dark money. I'm with you.
Exactly.
People should worry about what their government does in their name. I'm fine. Do me a favor. People are going to say, Flynn, forget about the FBI lies. I think Pence threw you under the bus. Right. And I think it was early enough in the administration that Trump wanted to use you as an example. If this had happened 2 years into his administration, he would have handled it differently, because he had so many bums in that administration 2 years in that this would have been something I think he would have defended. But let's put that to the side. Here's what I think bothers people, and I think should. You brought up misgivings about the election, and you are credited with being one of the people who was in Trump's ear saying it was stolen from you. You really believe the election was stolen from Trump?
I think that the 2020 November election was filled with fraud, and there's all kinds of evidence that shows that, Chris. It's undeniable now. Now, whether or not we go back to the way things were then, we can't go back at this point. We have to move this country forward. We have to. But there is a ton of fraud that has been brought.
But how can there be a ton when True the Vote, which all you guys were relying on, Schlapp and everybody else, comes out in court and says, we don't have the proof. We don't have the proof. And the videos, but we saw the people. No, you didn't see anything. The people who were moving around the ballots, that video wasn't what you made it out to be. Why say there was fraud when no fraud has been proven?
Well, one of the things that I do talk about in the movie is a guy that you just brought up is Mike Pence. I talk quite a bit about Mike Pence, actually, and raised this issue of where he stood in the early days of the Trump administration, and then as things evolved, what was the role of what I call the establishment, right? The establishment is not just Democrats, it's Republicans as well. I think that what we're going to have to do with the 2020 election, it's going to get washed out in history, and there is clear evidence. I don't know about True the Vote, but I'm looking at a whole bunch of other things that are going on in places like Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Arizona. There's just too much, and what it does is it takes away the idea of the confidence that the American people need to have in our vote. I mean, that's the one thing that makes us equal on the same time, same day. And we can't have this lack of confidence in our voting system.
I'm with you about the concept. I'm with you about the concept of the franchise. But when you say
4 years,
yes, I'm just saying when you say that there's
Trump
fraud
for Russia.
Okay, but that's a separate issue. Okay, I get the politics of that.
Well, but
I
it was
get why
Russia.
it was a waste of the
election
people's
interference.
time.
But it was election interference that they talked. They said
Right.
election interference by Russia. After the
Right.
2020 election, we're saying, hey, there's election interference in multiple places in this country, and you try to raise that issue. You try to look underneath the rug, and nobody wants to do it. And what they do is they attack you, they indict you, they subpoena you. I mean, this is insane. We can't have this, Chris.
I know, but General, here's the difference, okay? You can't just say there's fraud. You find fraud, and then you say there's fraud. I found it. But when you just say it and you can't prove it, you fuel the misgivings of the franchise and the democracy.
Well, I believe it's been, yeah.
But, General, we've seen the cases, okay? We've seen the cases. The record's just not
Chris,
there.
Stop
Do you
it.
really
fraud has been proven across the board. I mean, stop it. There's more voters than registered voters in the state of Pennsylvania. Look at what the investigation up in the state of Wisconsin. Now, this is not a Democrat issue. This is an American issue. We have to fix this.
Literally, listen, I'm fine. Look, I'm fine with fixing. I'm fine with making it better.
Yeah.
I don't understand why our money is treated better than our vote. I'm with you.
Exactly.
Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, no one found material problems that influenced the outcome of their voting in any real way. And you had Republicans in there doing the same.
Look at what they just found in Georgia. Look at what they just found in Georgia, Chris. Oh, my God. I mean, please.
What did they find in Georgia?
Dig into what the state legislature just found in Georgia and some of these presentations by one of these committees down there in the state legislature. It's just unbelievable. It's like 17,000 votes that they
all certified their vote. They all certified their votes.
That I don't deny. They certified it at the time. But what people continue to do, Chris, is there's a number of people that keep looking at this thing and saying, look, we cannot have this lack of confidence in our election system. One of the things that I
agree,
do talk
but I feel like you're feeding it.
No, I'm not feeding it. I don't feed it. What I do now, Chris, is I tell people to get out and vote. I tell people to go register to vote. I use this phrase, local action equals a national impact. I mean, people have got to go vote. You know that the national turnout right now for voter turnout for the primaries in this really consequential election is like 35% nationwide. You know, we can't have that. That's a failing grade for people who are supposed to be able to care about this country and vote. All the sacrifices that have gone on for so many centuries in this country for people to vote to protect that vote. And we still are at 35% for our primaries. That's crazy, Chris.
I got you. All right, General Flynn,
anyway,
I appreciate you. Listen, I'm not coming at you in bad faith.
Thanks for having me on.
We both care about the country. You serve the country. I respect your service. I think people should watch your film and make their own judgments.
They definitely
I'm here
should
for conversation.
They definitely should watch it. Yeah, I am.
I'm here for conversation.
I mean, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I agree, Chris. And I mean, we have to move this country forward. One of the reasons why I put this film out at this time is because I want people to understand partially what happened to my family and I, but through the lens of my family and this incredible level of persecution by a very corrupt system of government. And it's on both sides. A guy that you put up earlier, Mike Pence, he's a big part of this film. And I talk a lot about the Republican side of things. So this is about a survival story, but it's through our lens, and it's to tell the American people, this is how we fight through this. This is how we survive as a nation.